First up, an audio myth that Adam's having nightmares over.
Oh, look at that. Somebody's left me a present. Beautiful.
Looks like I'm gonna have to take care of this myself. Bye-bye.
What was that?
That was our next story.
Really? Because it looked to me like you were trying to kill me.
No. It sounds like I'm trying to kill you.
I don't get it.
Well, our next story is about whether the sounds you hear in the movies are accurate to the real world.
Sounds cool.
Yep, the sounds of Hollywood are being put under the MythBusters microscope. To give a story suspense, add dramatic punch, or even a real one. Movie makers manipulate, massage, and enrich every single sound effect we hear. But do these audio cliches bear any resemblance to the real thing? To find out, Adam and Jamie have got their ears to the sound.
All right, so if memory serves, the classic movie sound effects we'll be working with are things like the punch, the silencers, and explosions.
And any others we run into along the way.
All right, and the testing seems to be pretty straightforward. We punch something, we use a silencer, we blow something up, and we record those sounds and compare them to what the movies generally represent as those sounds.
Let's start with the punch.
Okay.
Fear not, Adam, there'll be no sobering sequel. Instead, Jamie's reprising the violence of the hams.
I always like to wear rain gear when I carry around my pigs.
Yep, Porky here is stepping up to take one for the team. Again.
Why am I using a pig? I've slapped Adam and he was fine, but if I really hauled off and punched him, he'd probably get hurt, and we can't have that. So we've traditionally used pigs for this kind of thing, like in Cannonball Chaos.
What?
And also, forensic pathologists regularly use pigs as the closest available human analog.
Now, clearly, Jamie and I are about to start punching this pig, but in order to compare the sound of our punches to your classic movie punch, we're going to record it. With this, a directional microphone pointed exactly at the point of impact. We will hit the pig, record it on this mic, and we will store it on this computer where we will compare it to this, the sound of a classic movie punch. Right, Jamie, I want you to imagine that you've come home and this pig has emptied your bank account. Go at him. Oh, nice. Did that hurt?
A little bit, I hit my fingers a little wrong.
Considering his hand was unprotected, Jamie gave it all he could. But the sound wasn't exactly silver screen superhero.
Piece of me. We're gonna get hurt if we keep doing it like this.
To avoid hurting themselves, they have to pull their punches, limiting the power they can put into them. And the audio recording reflects their less than action hero efforts.
All right, and for comparison, here's the movie punch. There's no equivalency at all.
Which leaves the myth reeling, but not yet knocked out.
Yet another use for duct tape.
Next, they're going to add a little action movie oomph to try and get a more Hollywood-style sound.
Ow.
And with his makeshift boxing glove, Jamie will be able to throw a full-blooded right hook. But despite pounding the pork appreciably harder, it's clear the audio still doesn't match up.
It's still nowhere near.
No.
But they're not done yet. Adam's dreaming up a right hook delivery system that's guaranteed to pack an action movie punch. Over the years, the MythBusters have tackled a heap of Hollywood tall tales. Until now, the myths have been based upon the tendency of movie makers to suspend reality with physics-defying visual effects. But this time, Adam and Jamie are hot on the oral trail. And to find out if a big screen punch sounds anything like the real thing, Adam's upping the ante.
As I really don't want to hurt this anymore by punching this poor pig, I'm going to make a fist punching analog. Not a machine, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a combination of this and a combination of that. Here we go.
The ballistics gel fist will provide an accurate sounding skin-on-skin contact, and the leverage of the bat will ensure Adam gets a good solid hit.
I think it's ready.
But this is it. If Adam can't get the sound of a big screen knockdown, this myth is down and out.
You ready, pig? Are you ready? I'm ready.
That was nice.
Let's listen.
To the naked ear, it was a marked improvement. But let's get an objective comparison.
That was pretty good. All right, let's listen to the movie sound. There's no comparison.
If the myth was on the ropes before, it's down for the count now. But if the movie effect isn't a recording of a real punch, what exactly is it?
We need to talk to an expert.
I think we do. Where are we gonna find one?
With a resume that includes a heap of Tim Burton blockbusters, Steve knows exactly how to pack a Hollywood punch.
Why doesn't our best punch sound like this?
You have a punch that sounds like punching a face. The Hollywood one is not about that. It's about drama. It's about selling the story. You might add a whoosh of something like this, a pipe or a dowel.
All right.
Just a little bit of that leading into the punch is going to give you that sense of the fist really moving fast. I noticed that you had the really good slap sound, but you might want to have a little bit of chest kind of like low end to it. You can either just a little bit of that can give you that sense of kind of a skull underneath that face slap that you got.
Yeah.
What else?
You might want to hear the sound of a skull cracking.
Wow.
Walnuts. I love it.
So those are the individual elements that go to make up a Hollywood punch. And by layering them, you get a result that's rich in texture and depth.
Let's take our best punch at the pig. All right, now Steve said it needed some low end. Let's take one of Steve's chest hits. Now he said it needed a whoosh. Let's take one of the swings he made of that little pipe. And then finally, let's add in some bone-cracking walnut sounds and play them all together and see what we get. It's pretty good, huh?
Yep, but it doesn't change the result. Punch sound effects are Hollywood fiction, and the myth is busted.
There's another sound I've always wondered about. When Jamie cocks the pistol with the silencer, I'm wondering how realistic that sound is. Okay, next up is actually one of my favorite sounds in movies, is the sound of an automatic pistol whose slide is being racked. And it sounds like, to my mind, the classic sound. Now, is that really the way a gun sounds?
We actually do use real guns now. Way back when in early movies, a lot of the sound people were coming out of radio play. And so they had a whole setup, a table of ratchets and things like that. They could have had guns, but maybe what you were hearing is some kind of ratchet mechanism that they were doing really quickly. Now with digital technology, we can record all these guns. We can keep them on a hard drive in a library and access the exact real thing whenever we need it.
So let's make the all-important comparison recording.
Let me record this here. That sounds pretty good.
And now here's the movie version.
That's not bad.
None of the punches that we made sounded much like the classic movie punch at all. But when it comes to pistols, as far as I can see, there's no need to fake it when you can use the real thing.
So that's one for Hollywood. With vast digital libraries to access, designers like Steve do actually use the sound of real gun mechanisms. Big or small.
Okay, I want everybody to get on the ground. This is a robbery. A robbery.
What do we have next?
Well, as you know, the rattlesnake, venomous rattlesnake, and its iconic warning rattle are completely endemic to the American Western. And what I want to know is the sound we're accustomed to hearing from the rattlesnake actually a real rattlesnake sound?
Well, this isn't a rattler, this is a Madagascar tree boa.
You are such a buzzkill. She likes you.
Yeah, I like her. Anybody that's seen a Western knows the sound that a rattlesnake makes. But is that actually the sound? Or is that a movie construct? So we're gonna have to get ourselves a real rattlesnake and see what they sound like. So Owen, are we gonna be able to get him to rattle without freaking him out?
Well, this is Big Bob, and just try stopping him.
Really?
Yeah.
He likes to rattle.
He likes to talk.
This is Big Bob, and this is the classic movie sound effect of a rattlesnake. What we want to know is how much like that does Big Bob sound? Shall we record this guy?
I think so.
Here we go. Let's go for it. Awesome.
There we go.
That sounded pretty good, but let's get an objective assessment.
All right. Let's start with the movie rattlesnake. Go. And now here's Big Bob. That is dead on. Look, in the olden days of radio and the early days of film, it's very possible, given that soundmen didn't want to have rattlesnakes in the studio, that they would use sounds for rattlesnakes like this. Or this. But now that everything's digital and portable, every rattlesnake you hear is pretty much the real thing.
That's the same sound.
Absolutely clear that they used real rattlesnakes to make rattlesnake sounds in films.
I think so.
Confirmed!
While I've got Bob here, there's one other myth that I can dispel about rattlesnakes, and that is that you can tell the age of a rattlesnake by the number of rattles on his tail. Fact is, you can't. You can't tell how old they are just by looking at them.
Well, shall we move on to some other adventure?
Why not?
All right, Bob. Catch you later.
Nice work.
The next classic Hollywood sound effect to get the MythBusters treatment is the gun silencer. And down at the South San Francisco Police Department shooting range, the boys mean business. Cue Meyer Sound's senior audio scientist, Dr. Roger Schwenke. With several previous appearances on the show, he gets the much sought-after title of Honorary Mythbuster.
Stir the pot, baby.
And today, he's brought along his laboratory-grade recording and analysis equipment.
We want to see whether these things actually make the same sounds in real life that they do in the movies, or do they make any sound at all? How do these silencers work? Well, they're kind of like mufflers on cars. They've got a series of baffles in them that sort of slow down and redirect the gases that are passing through and absorb a lot of the energy and the sound. It's kind of like opening a champagne bottle. If you pop that cork really quickly, you get quite a pop. If you do it really slowly and gently, all you get is a hiss.
That's how silencers silence. But outside a movie theater, what exactly are they used for?
Look, we would be remiss if we didn't explain that this is not an assassin's tool. Actually, military and law enforcement love suppressors for 4 main reasons. The extra weight out at the front of the gun actually reduces both muzzle lift and the recoil of the gun, making it easier to aim and stay on target. It does actually reduce the sound and the concussion, the blast of the bullet, and it also reduces the muzzle flash to 0, all of which makes this a safer and easier weapon to use.
Right, let's get down to testing. First up, Adam and Jamie take aim at a baseline.
First, we are going to fire an unmodified pistol at the target.
And 3, 2, 1.
Then we're going to put a silencer on that gun and shoot again at the target and compare the silenced round sound to the original gun sound and to the movie sound effect of a silencer. I'm holding a silenced pistol. It's just as cool as you think it is.
Now for the suppressor. Is the movie version anything like reality?
Thank you.
Do silences work as well in real life as they do on film?
That's nice.
That was pretty cool. That seemed a lot quieter than I thought it would.
And Jamie's 9mm pistol is equally surprising. It's an impressive improvement, but for analysis, let's hear from our expert acoustician. First, decibels, a measure of the intensity of the sound pressure.
So we go from 161 and then suppressed we go down to 128. That's a big change. That goes from dangerous to your hearing to safe.
But it's not just the power. The texture and time signature of the sound is also altered.
There's a very sharp, loud impulse. Then when you put the suppressor on, the initial sound is spread out more in time.
Wow. Can we hear him?
Here's the unsuppressed.
Okay, now let's hear suppressed.
Yeah, that tells the story.
And it's a story worth hearing again. A story with a surprise ending.
I swear, I went into this one thinking this would be completely busted. I'm kind of blown away.
But what about the all-important movie version? How does that stack up?
Can we hear the Hollywood sound?
Yeah, sure.
Dude, that is far out.
Far out indeed. But although it's not quite identical, the real-life suppressor does reduce the volume of the gunshot to Hollywood levels. And that's enough to impress Adam. A lot.
One of the most common questions we get is, are we surprised by the results that we come up with on the show? Today, monstrously surprised. I arrived at work this morning expecting that we would completely bust the myth that you could possibly suppress the sound of a bullet anywhere close to what the movies would lead you to believe. And I leave today being a convert to the idea this thing is totally plausible. The only reason I'm not calling it confirmed is because instead of a pew pew sound like they do in the movies, I'm shooting my cameraman's knees out here, it's more like a poof poof sound. But that is picking nits as far as I'm concerned. This is astonishing.
Do silencers actually suppress the sound of a bullet as much as they seem to in the movies, and specifically make that sound?
Well, actually, they come pretty darn close, don't they?
They do. We got to call this one plausible.
Yep.
I'm amazed. Nice shooting, Tex.
You too.
You may remember in the opening sequence, Adam and Jamie set off a Hollywood-style explosive fireball.
Bye-bye.
But despite having plenty, the guys didn't blow up the car just for fun. It was part of the test to find out whether the ubiquitous explosive sound effect you hear in the movies is anything like the real thing. So first up, let's show you the ingredients of a typical silver screen Big Bang.
2 gallons of gasoline, ringed in some det cord, and stuck in the front seat. That's how Hollywood makes its spectacular fireball explosions.
But what do they really sound like?
Bye-bye. Quite a difference, huh?
Much like the punch, the movie version has a lot more texture and depth. Quite simply, it's more dramatic than the real thing.
How did the waveforms compare?
They're clearly very different. The gas explosion we just did had a very sudden onset, and the energy is concentrated in a very narrow range of low frequencies. Whereas the classic movie explosion has a much slower onset and the energy is over a much wider range of frequencies, and it lasts for a much, much longer time. It's a very different sound.
Which sounds like a busted myth. But the guys aren't done yet. They're not getting bogged down with just one big boom. If the sound of a gasoline-fueled fireball doesn't match the movies, maybe a real high explosive will. Cue our old friend, C4.
Now we're gonna blow this car up for realsies and check out how that sounds. We're also going to commensurately check how it looks, because, you know, that's just like an ancillary benefit.
All right, here we go.
2.2 pounds of C4 in 3, 2, 1. Oh! Kaboom! That was a good, solid thud.
Kind of makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, don't it?
It does.
A good solid thud, but once again it's clearly a completely different sound to the sound effect.
I'm looking at the top, the movie explosion, and I'm seeing this big, wide bandwidth of sound, and I see the C4 and I see nothing like that. I see one sharp impulse, a little bit of surrounding noise, but nowhere near the depth and the range of the movie explosion. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think that one's busted.
Yep, the contrast between the real explosions and the film sound effect is as clear as a bell. And that leaves this final movie myth about as busted as the car.
Let's get out of here before our shoes get all dirty.